Well, any more entertaining series don't just live on TV. Some are exclusively online now on the internet.
Our next guest is working on a new web series filmed in Los Angeles but inspired by Omaha.
She's a native actress and comedian, Christina Marie Leonard. Good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, welcome back to the Big O.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Home for a few days.
Yes, we got in at like the crack of dawn last night, but I was so excited. My parents have a new house. It's great to be back.
Yeah, good. Well, welcome back. What's the series about?
It is based on a real experience I had in a metal band in high school. The band was called Loch Ness, and I love comedies, obviously, so it's a comedy about these kids that are struggling to get ahead in this band.
You went to Millard South. Were your bandmates also classmates, or how did it form?
Actually, I was the only girl in a band with a bunch of guys.
Were
which
you the
is kind
singer,
of,
the vocalist? What were you?
I was actually the keyboardist.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I've been playing piano since I was 9. I teach piano on the side in LA. And so they all went to various schools. Some of them went to Creighton Prep. Some of them went to Scut. I think we met at local concerts.
So you were a metalhead. I mean, you loved the music, and that's how you ended up in the band.
Yeah, and this genre was actually folk metal, which is a bit more of an obscure genre.
Folk metal.
It seems wildly specific.
Yeah, and usually when I explain it to people, I do this little sing-songy jig thing, which
Can you do it now?
Yeah, if you want me to.
I want you to.
Well, do you want to?
Yeah, I do. So it's kind of like the heavy metal, but it's kind of got this like yep, that's what I do. Everyone explain what
So
it
how
sounds
did you?
like.
It's kind of based off real life. So how did you go about finding the cast and putting together the crew for all this?
That was a really fun process. So I went to college at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln for theater performance, the Johnny Carson School. And while I was there, I met a lot of really great people. And some of the people I met were Miju Sayuni and Max Holm. And I worked with them at UNL, and they moved to LA a bit before me. And I knew that Max had gone to school for filmmaking, and Miju was in for PR and producing and directing. So she ended up being my producing partner, along with another girl, Rachel Gunnarsson, and Mel Recker, who's from Omaha. And Max, I called on him to be the DP.
That's great.
We had open casting calls, and we were lucky to actually find some Nebraskans for our cast.
Why is that a priority for you? Is it a matter of like-mindedness on a project like this where they're going to get it? There's not as much explaining to do, or what was it?
With having Nebraskans involved, you know, with for the crew, for the producers, it was mainly because initially we ended up raising 10 grand on Kickstarter, but we didn't know at first. I thought I was just going to do this with no money, and I just wanted to have some people on board that believed in it, and who better than my friends that I knew were talented already. But when it came to the cast, having people from Nebraska really had nothing to do with it. But there just happens to be a lot of talented people from Nebraska.
That's cool to
There
hear.
are. We've had a lot of them on the show. There's some actors that were born and raised in Omaha. They work in LA now. Do you ever connect with a lot of people out there?
Yeah, actually, I know Brian McClure was on the show before. He's a good friend of mine. Eric Hover,
Yeah.
he's a good friend of mine. I was in his movie It Snows All the Time. Got to come back here for that. And so we actually have a group called the Nebraska Coast Connection out there in Los Angeles, and we meet once a month and kind of connect and share our stuff, and we're weird together.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Well, but as you know, LA is a networking town, so the more bigger of a network you have, the more opportunities are out there. So it's great that you guys hook up.
How did you get into acting initially?
Well, when I was 5 years old, I decided that, like a lot of kids making the little home movies, but I decided I would really go big, and I did this Pocahontas play in my backyard with 25 kids from my kindergarten class. And my mom was very supportive, and she said, "Okay, Christina, you should probably take an acting class." And I said, "No, Mom, I know everything there is to know about acting." Listen, my college theater professors are laughing right now. They're like, "No, we taught you that."
It took some time.
Yeah. So then I started taking class at the Rose, the Omaha Community Playhouse.
Oh, great.
That's great. When I was younger, we created basically a video as well on Easter. All the kids participate. So I don't know, I was 10, and look where that got me. not very. I hope your career goes a lot better than mine.
Was it raining? Because I feel like it's raining every Easter in Omaha.
It was a good time to resurrect that video.
Yeah,
Since
I mean,
Easter's
it's out there
over.
somewhere,
We'll find it.
Put it viral.
Right.
What about comedy? Because Michael Malone will be at the Funny Bone this weekend, and I know you'll be on stage prior. How did you get into stand-up?
Well, that kind of came as a surprise. So there's some casting websites in Los Angeles where I submit for different acting roles, and one of the submissions called for somebody that had experience in comedy and improv, and I had done those, but they said, you know, that wants to also try stand-up. And I said, okay, yeah, I've always wanted to try. So I got this coaching with my now really good friend, Matt Taylor, and he helped me to book a show, and my other friend Andrea and Pete, and they're like a really great, there's a great network of comedians out there. And at first I was doing a show like once a month, once every couple months, and then my friends told me, you need to start doing open mics, Christina, you need to actually like work on this. And as I started to do the open mics, I really fell in love with it.
Yeah.
What was that first open mic session like?
Were you terrified?
Well,
The first show ever was at this place called Dunas on Cahuenga and Melrose in Hollywood. And my boyfriend at the time, like we had just started dating, and he's also from Nebraska. And I was with all my friends. They didn't know that we were dating. And I didn't know that the comedians were supposed to go in like a green room, but this restaurant didn't quite have a green room. So I was sitting with all my friends, and my good friend starts kicking my chair because I was texting my boyfriend at the time to like, where are you? Got to show up.
Yeah.
Turns out the comedian that was on stage was heckling me for being on my phone. And then after that, the host says, and next up is Christina Marie Leonard. Everyone starts laughing, and the host had been saying, are you texting your boyfriend? And I said, yes, and all my friends go, you have a boyfriend? So I go on stage, and then he walks in the door, and everyone turns their head, and they go,
busted.
is that him?
Yeah, right.
Busted is
What
right.
a great first experience,
Yeah.
though. Here's
Yeah.
the information again about Christina's shows with Michael Malone at the Funny Bone. Get your tickets online at funnyboneomaha.com. And then in terms of Loch Ness, the web series, when will it be released online, do you think?
You know, we anticipate it sometime in 2015.
Great. That's this year. Bring
Yeah.
it.
coming up.
Thanks. It's nice to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This
Great
has been
energy
great.
out of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.